Welcome back to Let's Chat, your go-to source for major marketing moments. This week, let's chat influencers and luxury retail. We're unpacking how brands are turning storytelling, scarcity, and spectacle into strategic levers. From Louis Vuitton to Labubu, the goal is the same move: culture and business. Let's get into it. So, to really get into this new luxury playbook, I think we have to start with, well, that Labubu sensation. Pop Mart, right?
Oh, yeah, Pop Mart. Amazing story. Nearly 40% year-over-year revenue growth. They're getting close to a, $6 billion valuation.
Exactly. And the really interesting part is how influencers were just the absolute fuel for that fire. I mean, there's that stat, right? 71% of millennials are more likely to buy after seeing a peer or influencer post about it. That's huge.
It really is. And what's so fascinating about Labubu is how organic the initial spread was. It wasn't some massive paid campaign right out of the gate.
All right, so how did it start then?
Well, it seems like Blackpink's Lisa, who's obviously a global superstar, just posted about Labubu. And that single post apparently sparked this wave of sightings: Rihanna, Dua Lipa, and suddenly this toy becomes this luxury crossover item. It kicked off a massive resale frenzy.
And the whole blind box thing they do, that seems to tap into something pretty fundamental, behaviorally speaking. Can you maybe unpack that a bit? The mystery, the scarcity.
Yeah.
How does that trigger those dopamine mechanics?
Yeah, it's actually a brilliant psychological play. That a mystery of not knowing what you'll get combined with the limited releases, it basically replicates the same kind of thrill, that dopamine hit you get from things like, well, slot machines even.
Makes sense.
And you saw the result online, right? That explosion of hashtag Labubu unboxing on TikTok, on Reels, getting millions upon millions of views. It even broke into mainstream media coverage.
And then they did that Louvre exclusive line.
Exactly, which brilliantly repositioned the toy. Suddenly, it's an art-inspired luxury collectible.
So the takeaway there is really community seeding, organic buzz, often beats straightforward paid promotion.
I think so, yeah. And having a narrative, characters with backstories, gets people hooked emotionally. Plus, that scarcity definitely triggers those dopamine loops, keeps people coming back for random drops, limited runs.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? A collectible toy, setting the standard for luxury marketing. It's kind of upside down.
It really is.
Which brings us to the established luxury giants.
Yeah.
How are they translating this kind of social energy into actual business results?
Right, because at that level, influence has to be performance-driven. It needs to move the needle.
So how do you measure that? How do you quantify the buzz?
Well, that's where this concept of earned media value, EMV, comes in. It's basically a way to calculate the equivalent cost if that organic exposure had been paid media.
Okay.
So it tells you what a specific post or partnership is actually worth in terms of impressions, PR value. And it's especially critical in regions like Asia-Pacific, because that region now accounts for something like 39% of global luxury store openings. And its influencer market is growing at this just staggering rate, like 33 to 36% CAGR, compound annual growth rate.
Those EMV numbers you hear about are just wild. Like Blackpink's Rosé generating an estimated $550 million total EMV over 2 years.
Yeah, and a single YSL post being valued at $6.6 million. Or Alia Bhatt, the Bollywood star, her Gucci sari debut at Cannes, that apparently pulled in $12.6 million in EMV.
So what does that really tell us? Is it just about signing huge global ambassadors?
It tells us that influence directly moves markets and metrics for these brands, but it's not just about long-term ambassadors. Sometimes it's those spectacular, gotta-see-it moments.
Like at Fashion Week.
Exactly. Think about Paris Fashion Week. Beyonce showing up in custom Louis Vuitton that reveal got more views in 24 hours than the actual runway show itself. Or Cardi B arriving at Schiaparelli with a live raven. That wasn't just fashion. It was pure theater designed for Instagram. Huge earned media impact.
So spectacle still sells. Big time.
Definitely. And those global ambassadors provide sustained equity, especially in high-growth markets.
Yeah.
But you need those viral moments, too. The key is tracking EMV to see what's actually delivering results, tying it back to things like store traffic or product sales after a campaign.
Okay, so let's talk about the playbook of the absolute top performers. Gartner's 2025 Digital IQ Index calls them genius brands, right? The top 3%.
That's right. These are the brands that are really nailing it across search, social, e-commerce, content, turning influencer marketing into a serious growth engine.
So who's leading the pack?
Well, Coach ranked #1. They went broad and balanced. Instagram, yes, but also hitting OTT streaming platforms like Hulu and YouTube hard. Plus display ads, they got, get this, 7.7 times the average impressions via those OTT platforms alone.
Interesting. So not just relying on Instagram.
Yeah.
And Tiffany & Co. at #2.
Tiffany activated across TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Their thing was these really engaging short-form videos showing the craft behind the jewelry, really drew people in, led to 1.4 times higher engagement than their peers.
Smart. And Louis Vuitton was number 3.
LV actually led the whole index specifically on influencer engagement. Their Instagram Reels got 5 times more interactions per post compared to average. YouTube campaigns pulled in 7 times more views.
What set them apart?
Experiential storytelling. They weren't just putting influencers next to a product. They were putting them inside exclusive LV events, making them part of the narrative.
Okay, so pulling all this together.
Yeah.
What's the core insight? What's driving luxury influence today?
I think the main thing is that this kind of virality, especially in luxury, isn't just luck. It's really engineered. It's this careful mix of narrative, scarcity, and finding that authentic connection.
And it requires a really nuanced strategy, right? Understanding that different categories need different approaches.
Absolutely. Fashion leans into trends, immediacy. Jewelry is about high-touch visuals, storytelling. Watches often need more education. Heritage, you can't use a one-size-fits-all approach.
And you need to master each platform individually.
Yes. The best brands aren't just on TikTok or Instagram. They use TikTok for buzz, Instagram for that polished look, YouTube for deeper storytelling. They balance it.
And it's about the whole journey, not just the initial post.
Exactly, thinking beyond the post. How do you guide someone from that first discovery moment, maybe seeing a styling video or a behind-the-scenes clip, all the way to actually buying, making that path frictionless?
So wrapping it all up, the biggest takeaway is that virality isn't bought, it's built. The most successful luxury retailers layer storytelling, exclusivity, and social native formats to let creators and fans drive the hype. Next week, we're shifting gears and diving into the AI tech stacks marketers actually need in 2025, what's worth your time, what's hype, and what's changing the game. See you then, same place, same chat.